Hi guys, my name is Matthew Oden and I was working with John Cunningham on this project. Yep, we're reviewing JIRA, so let's take a look at this roadmap. Alright, first we're going to start off with intro to JIRA, JIRA details, little extras, and pros and cons. Let's be honest, it's mainly pros, but every software has a little bit of negative feedback. Alright. Starting off, JIRA is just a project management tool designed to be used by agile teams. JIRA is used for planning, tracking, reporting issues for software development teams. I know personally I work at Verizon and there are a lot of groups that use JIRA. I know I get emails all the time from project development teams with updates and all the stuff that they're doing in JIRA. Granted, I myself am only able really just to view. I don't interact with JIRA myself, but the fact that Verizon, a Fortune 15 company, is using JIRA is definitely speaks to the quality of the system. It can be used from the cloud, local servers, data centers. I mean, it has a ton of additional add-ons. I know John mentioned earlier that little section with add-ons, but we aren't using our work emails and a lot of proprietary information on there, so can't show it. Alright, moving on, next slide. Alright, JIRA, it's making work easier. I mean, just like John was saying, there's the Kanban boards, there's Scrum boards. I mean, there's a ton of things you can do. I mean, you got all these projects, issues, boards, I mean, everything you can want to make. I mean, you can go ahead and just use these templates that are already set up, or you can just start blank and just create your own. Moving on. I mean, look at all these details. I mean, I just took the snippet from John's demo, and just imagine being at work. All this stuff is going to be filled out with multiple people's comments, activities, all their progress. I mean, you're just going to have all these different assignments, and that's the beauty of using the agile system. I mean, you can have all these people working on their tasks and getting it done, and everyone's being held accountable because it's all being tracked on JIRA. So definitely I agree, the devil is in the details, and you can definitely see if your company uses JIRA, I'm sure you've seen some of these web pages and just been in awe of the amount of detail. Or you've just just gotten lost just clicking through and just trying not to mess anything up. Alright, I know personally, like I said, I mentioned that I work at Verizon. I've looked at a ton of these type projects, and there will be times people will be done with their development, and we will have releases that happen each month. But sometimes they have to get our approval first. So that means we have to go out to JIRA. We have to look at everything that they're releasing. And we will do some testing to make sure that the code that they're about to put in does not break our current system. And after we've given the approval, they'll get the sign off, they'll put the release in, and then we just see what happens after that. Next slide, basically little extra benefits. I know John had talked about subtasks. I mean, you can just add additional tasks to keep track of whatever people have been assigned. Maybe you realize your project isn't complete yet. There was some last minute issues that came up and they're added and you need to sign these out real quick. You can do that. You can mess with priorities. You can definitely move things as time goes by because you might have realized something that was an issue at the beginning is very trivial at the end and you're just going to leave that for last. Another nice little feature is watchers. You can go back and add people to watch. I know I've done this a couple of times on certain projects that I want to make sure we're getting put in, or I wanted to make sure we're not getting put in and we're being held off till a later release. Bugs, they can be set up the same as issues, but these are definitely fixes that need to be made after releases of code have occurred. I know I've definitely had to sign off on a few bugs that came about after releases. Pros and cons, I would definitely have to say with Jira, I mean, just you can keep so much history of user story, development, all this work that's done on all these different releases, all these epics. I know at Verizon we call them VES epics, Verizon Enterprise Solution epics. I know I've worked on a couple of user stories for some of these releases, and I've had them put them in, and I know I've had to keep track. I think the last one I worked on was November release. It was effective, which is good. I know with Agile and iteration development, Jira has definitely been seen as an effective tool in my company, and we still use it today and will continue to use it. I think it's also great for how easy it is to assign people tasks, especially people that you know can accomplish it. That way you're not just automatically assigning, although you can set that up in Jira just to automatically assign, so that way a task isn't just sitting out there. I'd have to say as a con, sometimes there's too much information out there. You can just get lost digging through the weeds and all those user stories and projects. I think it would be tough, at least for someone coming on right away who hasn't had any experience with Jira. But over time, and if you have the right guide, it is an amazing tool to have. Other little thing though is everything is an issue. I just think sometimes that would lead to a negative connotation just being associated with it, especially if someone was new and didn't really know what Jira was. They'd be like, man, this project has so many issues. I had no idea that this had so many bugs. But it's like, no, issues are just the name of different tasks and different things associated with epics and stories. Overall, I would have to say that Jira is an amazing program. I think it's a great tool used for software development, and I hope I'll actually get to be a part of a team that really uses it and not just be there for sign-off approval. And this is all I have for John and I's project. Thanks so much.